Very pleased to be joined by LSU softball coach Beth Torina, who had a landmark victory, milestone victory this past weekend against Sam Houston State, the 500th of her career. Beth, thanks for the time as always. How are you?
Thanks so much for having me. I'm doing well.
It's our pleasure. All right, 500. I know you've been asked it a bunch, but for the benefit of our audience, I mean, to see that flashing up on the scoreboard at Tiger Park, what did it mean? And maybe now that you've had a few days now to reflect on it a little more.
Yeah, it's been really cool. It makes me just think about all of the women that played in those games. You know, it just makes me think about how they just gave their heart and soul to their universities and all the effort that they put in. So it's been a fun thing. A lot of them have reached out, and I've reached out to a lot of them. So it's been a really neat thing, I think, just having those players and talking with them a little bit. So it's been fun. And, of course, Quinlan, our awesome ops person, put the 500 in my girls' hands, my actual children, and let them run out on the field, which was so cool. So that'll definitely melt your heart right there.
Does it as a mom, and I think everybody knows, right? When you coach, so much of your life is dedicated to your profession, and you sacrifice a lot. What did it mean having your girls, and are they keenly aware of what you do and how important that is, and how much of a moment that was?
No, not at all. They asked
not even close.
No, they asked if I come home early or something. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you just a mom today? What about Tiger softball? No Tigers, and they always are like, does this mean you're just a mom? Nope, not just a mom. Thanks for twisting the knife a little deeper.
No, but you know what I mean though. But it
no,
was.
I'm saying from them.
No, I hear you. But it was cool though. It's such a cool moment though for everybody to celebrate. Is it harder to, because it's not even the middle of the season. You're in the season to even reflect. Is that something that you just think later on you'll consider more?
I think the whole thing's really cool, and we play a lot of games. So we have a lot of opportunities in our sport. So I think it's a really neat thing, and I'm super proud too of just our three little girls running on the field, and the fact that Nick and I have been able to do this family, these players that are just like family to us and make it all work somehow is something I'm really proud of too.
You can never leave, right?
Well, I did measure my hand, and it is 9 inches.
Wait. Oh, my God. Wait, how big are your hands?
It is not, I don't know. I think it's 9 inches, though, really.
Was it 9 or 9 1/4?
No, it's probably 8 and almost just under 9.
Okay. That wasn't, so when you were pitching, that wasn't a thing that was really strongly considered?
Well, I'm considering retirement because of my hands.
This is kind of like the thing on Twitter over the last 24 hours. Everybody's measuring their hands and posting pictures. So mine is a little more than 10 inches, Beth. If there are agents out there that are looking for a client, I'm not saying that I could throw with any accuracy, but if hand size is any technical measurement there, I'm in, right? Could I throw a softball more effective because I have a bigger hand?
I think you could. I don't know. This is a little tidbit for you here.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone has noticed Tiger softball, when we hit a home run this year, when the girl hits the plate, the whole team strikes the Heisman pose.
I love it.
I don't know if anyone's picked up on it yet, but that is their home run this year is the Heisman.
I love it. All right, so what we need now is video of that to go viral, and then to get Joe Burrow to throw out a first pitch and then strike the Heisman pose.
Totally.
All right,
Let's do it.
We'll make that happen. Beth Torina is our guest. We'll talk about your team heading out to the West Coast in just a second, but also there was more history this past weekend. Mary Beth Gorsuch throws the first. Beth, I had no idea there had never been a 7-inning perfect game in the history of LSU softball. For
you and me both.
Right? So would you have just assumed it had happened?
Yes, and there have been so many great pitchers. LSU is the who's who list of pitchers. There's pitchers all over the walls, so It's hard for me to fathom it too. But what a beautifully pitched game! What an awesome thing to be a part of.
Have you ever in your career, player or coach, been a part of a perfect game?
Well, we had a 5-inning one since I've been here.
A 7. Okay, let me clarify that. 7-inning.
Gosh, I don't think so. And even cooler than this perfect game, have you ever heard of Someone throwing 21 first pitch strikes?
No, like that was the thing about it that was the most astonishing. Because like even, and this is obviously what separates like a world-class athlete and a dope like me, but even if I were like playing darts, I would be so keenly aware of the fact. All right, this is better, Beth. So every day we do a segment. I have a waste paper basketball goal in here, and I crumple up paper and I like shoot. And on days whenever like I've hit like 3 or 4 in a row and I have one more, I always choke and I miss the last one. Like if I were her, I would be so like keenly aware of the fact that I'm throwing a perfect game, and I would just throw up on myself on the last out.
Well, she was amped up in the last inning a bit. We looked at the velocities, and that's the hardest she's ever thrown since she's been here. So she was amped up at the end. But we did tell her after the first time through the lineup, hey, that you've thrown all 9 first pitch strikes. Good job. And she said, don't tell me that kind of stuff. And I said, well, it's not like you're going to do it all game. So don't even worry about it. And you don't even have to. It doesn't even matter. And then she threw 21 first pitch strikes.
That is amazing. You know what's so interesting? Last year, you all just bombed the ball. 2 years ago, you had like a dynamic 2-headed monster in the circle. Like, have you identified the identity? Have you like put your finger on what the identity of this team is going to be? Like, do you know yet, like have a really good feeling what you're going to be?
I think we're going to be well-rounded. I think we're going to be able to rely on a lot of different things. So the coolest thing about our pitching staff right now, and part of the reason why we're in these spots, is all 4 of them, the returners, we have some young kids too, but all 4 of the returners are throwing so well. I would put them against any team in the country, any one of them, not just, well, we have to throw our number one. I'd throw any of them. Yeah. So we're able to just match them up with what we think the other team's weakness is. So it puts them in a really successful situation where they can just be themselves.
Well, you're going to get a chance to find out against the best in the country. This weekend, you'll take on Washington, which is ranked 2nd. You got Bama, obviously, a trip to Tuscaloosa coming ahead. Let's talk a bit about the weekend. You're going out to Fullerton. How does this come about, and how do you plan to get into this type of tournament this time of the season to go out to the West Coast? How did this opportunity come about?
Well, we've gone out there for, a lot of years. We didn't go last year. We've gone to Palm Springs typically, but I like going out there because we have a bunch of players from there, and I try to always play local to where our kids are from at some point in their career. So maybe the extended family that can't make it all the way to Baton Rouge can possibly see us play out there. So that's really the main goal behind it. And then, of course, our Tigers want to be challenged. They love being challenged. That's why they came here. So we want to play the best schedule we can. We're hunting the best schedule, and that's where we find it.
Loyola Marymount, Texas Tech, Cal, Washington, and Colorado State, who was a WCWS participant a year ago, all on the docket for this weekend out in Fullerton, California. That's where Beth Torina and the Tiger softball team will be. And we're going to keep in touch as we follow through the course of this season. We appreciate a couple of minutes. Are y'all leaving today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Okay, you're leaving tomorrow. All right, well, safe travels. We appreciate the time as always, and congrats again, Coach, on the accomplishment.
Thank you so much for the support. We appreciate you.
It's our pleasure. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right, bye-bye.
All right, that is Beth Torina, Tiger softball coach, and just happens to be my favorite coach at LSU. So I don't want to say it, but I'm so pulling for her to win a national title. I don't want to verbalize it and jinx. People believe in jinxes. I don't, but she does. She's the Can you call her back? She called us, didn't she? I botched it. Wait, let's see if I can call her back real quick. So she is the most superstitious. I want to get her back on in the next segment. Yeah, I want to get her back on the next segment. She's the most superstitious not coach. She's the most superstitious human that I know. I got to know what her superstition is so far of this year. I cannot believe I forgot to ask her that. All right. 17 years in radio, 10 years of this show, one of in the pantheon of epic failures on my part is not asking Beth Torina, who is not only the most superstitious coach, but the most superstitious human I know, what she was doing as her pitcher threw a perfect game last week. Okay, Beth was so good to call us back. All right, thank you very much for calling back and for humoring me here. Okay, so hit me with it.
Okay, so first of all, the superstitions are really as bad as normal.
Okay, good.
Mary Beth has been sitting next to me on the bucket when she's not pitching, and she tried to get up the other day, and of course I had to order her back down. She was like, Coach, I was just going to get my jacket. You're not getting that jacket until we go on offense.
Wait, last year, by the way, weren't you wearing a coat last year in 100-degree weather because it was helping?
Have you not seen me this year?
I know you always, but Beth, you always wear sleeves. And by the way, it's been freezing. That doesn't surprise me when it's 100 degrees outside and you're wearing sleeves. I mean, I know you say because like you're trying to protect yourself from the sun, but at some point, like wearing a coat when it's 100 degrees is absurd.
I know. I almost needed an IV at Florida State one year because I thought this coat was the reason. It was like 110 degrees. But I wore that coat for the World Series, okay?
Okay.
Go to the series.
Okay. All right. So Mary Beth. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying how she's in this now with me because she tried to sit on this bucket next to me. Now she's stuck on this bucket when she's not pitching all the time. So, because she started there, you know?
Right.
But we still have the zippers, too. Like when we go on offense, you unzip all the pockets on all your jackets. And, you know, and so then you have to zip them back, though, when you go on defense. You have to let the hits out. Oh, that's Lindsay's, actually. Lindsay started that. My assistant.
Who has been the chief, like the person who has gone against the superstition the most?
Oh, nobody does. They know better. If they're going to go against the superstition, they just can't be near me in the dugout. But, okay, so here's the greatest one of this year, though. All right?
All right.
I reach in my pocket on the first game of the year, and on one side, I pulled out Piglet, a stuffed little pig that Beth Torina had stuck in my pocket one day. And on the other side, I pull out a rock that probably Tatum Torina had put in my pocket one day.
Right.
So now I have to keep Piglet with me in the pocket. And sometimes if we're not doing good, I have to switch Piglet and the rock in the pocket.
Well, doesn't this tell you that if you're not doing well, then the superstition's not working? Beth!
Well, it worked so far.
That's the point, though. It's not working, though, if you got to switch Piglet. Wait, is it like the actual pig? Is it the actual Piglet from Winnie the Pooh?
Yes, it is.
How big is it?
It's small. It's like, I don't know, 4 inches tall. It's like a little stuffed pig. I don't even know where it came from.
That is so sweet, though. Like that your girls put a rock and a Piglet in your pocket, though. Isn't that sweet, though? And by the way, we got the picture up on TV right now of your girls with the 500 sign.
It is sweet, but it also shows what this job has driven me to, and it's close to like the crazy bin, right?
I actually adore the fact that you have Piglet in your pocket during games. And what I would really like for you to do at some point is when you're on camera, expose Piglet and the rock. Like, can you have them in your hands? Or is that breaking the superstition? Do they have to be in the pocket?
I don't know. Like maybe like between innings or when like a mid game, I'll pull them out.
Okay.
You know?
Or when you're on defense, so your pockets are unzipped.
No, they're.
Or they're zipped during defense, or they're unzipped.
They're on defense.
They're zipped. Okay, they're zipped on defense.
You let the hits out. You let the hits out.
Got it. So when you're off, So when you're on offense, you can unzip the pockets and you can take out Piglet and the rock. Because when you're on defense, they have to be in the pocket and zipped, right? Or they have to be in your hands and zipped, or they have to be in the pockets.
This is what coaching drives you to when you can't control anything that these girls do on the field.
Yes.
Then you turn into a crazy person, and all I can control is whether or not I'm wearing a jacket or where people are sitting.
Well, Beth, you do sound crazy. Not gonna lie, it's a little crazy, but it's worked for you and for this program, and for that, we're very, very excited. So we will be watching, and we will be keeping tabs on more superstitions. And if it's 100 degrees and you're wearing a jacket, You'll
know why.
I'll know why, but we're also going to have to get you help, Beth, because you can't be getting IVs in the dugout during a game. Like, that's not a thing that can happen, okay? There's got to be.
I did not get an IV.
You said you were close to getting an IV.
I was just joking. The whole thing is just fun. Come on.
All right. We'll be watching, and thank you for calling back, and we appreciate it. And we'll keep tabs on your superstitions. Text me if you get any good ones, okay?
I'll think if anything else comes up, I'll let you know.
All right, please do. Thanks, Beth.
All right.
Okay, that is Beth Torina, LSU softball coach.